Hey guys, today's the January the 1st of 2015, and we have first install of the year. It's going to be a KYB XLG shock absorbers, both front and back, and some of these new used mounts, because they're newer, because they're not 80,000 miles, but they're used. Got some of the tools here laying around, and this is my DSLR that I've been having for a couple years, but I just decided to try it out now, see how it works. I might not be able to get as tight of an angle because it's actually larger than my camera, but we'll see how it goes. It's a tripod for it, and it's actually going to be a dual part install because, as you see, these are my stock wheels. 18s, and oh, what's that over there? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 new wheels. I wonder what they're gonna be. But tread wear on these is really nice. I got them from a friend locally for a really good deal, and reason why I haven't installed them yet is because my suspension is dragging. If you notice, my front is actually really low. What's supposed to be. Granted, I have spacers. There's 25mm in there, in all 4 sides, but sorry about that. It's kind of early in the morning. We have there's a gap right there. So it's a normal looking gap, maybe, but when you press down, which I can't right now because obviously I'm holding the camera, it'll bottom out. Especially with the new wheels, since they're wider. They're 255 45 in the front and 275 40 in the back. Granted, that was his tire choice, so they're a bit beefy, which I don't mind, and they're a bit beefy in the front, which I don't mind either. But you know, we'll use it because these wheels are actually warped, especially on the passenger side. So I'm getting a wobble that cannot be removed via balance. So I'm going to try these guys on, and I already tried them on once and they worked just fine, so I'm going to this time fix the suspension. So I'm going to take you guys along for the ride so you guys can see how this is done. I'm probably only going to film one side because I am on a limited time right now today, but you know, what you do on one side you do on the other, so should be fairly simple. And this time I do have a tripod, as you saw earlier, right there. So these shots will probably be a bit better quality than usual. So depending on how this video goes with the camera, I might start using it in future videos. Alright, let's start with the install. Alright, so here's the rear tire. We already jacked everything up. Take this guy out. So you pretty much know what to do with this case. Alright, so now that we have the rear removed, or rear tire I should say, you're going to have to remove this bolt right here, and you actually have to put something underneath the arm brace over here, because as soon as you remove those 2 guys right there, you have one bolt there and then one hoop, which I hope you can see. Let me see if I can move the camera. Yeah, you got one bolt right there and one right there. Be very careful, these are low torque bolts, so when you're tightening them, don't overdo it. So as you see, this is OEM and very dirty, so I'm going to clean the springs at least before I put them back in. So go ahead and remove this bolt, and then for the spring you're gonna remove that bolt right there. So, and also for all that, I highly suggest you spray it with some PB Blast. This stuff will leave it on there for like 15 minutes. I'm gonna do the other side, meanwhile this side oils up. And luckily though I have an impact, so that should take care of a lot of the work. So let me oil this up and take out the other side, and then we'll get back on actually removing the bolts. Alright, so right now we're going to remove this guy and this guy. I already removed the bolts on top. Not removed, but loosened. So, a little bit of work. That comes off. And so make sure that you have a jack underneath, so which is right there. Okay, so I'll jack this up a little bit to ease the pressure. And hold on, I missed the part. Actually, no, it's right here. Alright. So this guy, okay, just comes off normally. We might not even have to remove the bottom spring because I'm actually not removing the spring. So we'll see. I just loosened it just for shits and giggles. So depending on how, see, this guy came out directly, so this is good because that way this piece just shifts out of the way. So now, very carefully, we have to lower the bottom. It just pops out. See? There. That has enough movement and play in order to now come up here and we remove these mounts, which you use a 14mm socket in a long ass extension. So those bolts aren't really tight. If I remember the manual, I have it written down, but so I can show you guys. But in the manual, I believe it said it was a very small bolt nuts. I mean, so these don't actually get that much torque. I think it's like 20 foot-pounds, which I have to convert to inch-pounds because my torque converter, I mean, not my torque converter, my torque stick only goes up to, I think, minimum is like 40. And these bolts are very easily broken, as you guys can check in the forums. But also, they're non-replaceable, meaning that if you break them, you really have to do some stuff. Most people that I know have to get them cut, re-drilled, and have a new bolt welded because they're basically on the chassis itself. So then, let me see if I have to lower this anymore. There it goes. So then, it's easy as that. One shock removed. So I'm gonna see how my mounts are, but I'm probably gonna reuse my mounts instead of these. So let me go get the other shock built, and well, let me go take you over there so you guys can see it too. Alright, so here's the new KYB along with the fact we got a new nut, so now at least we know more or less how long to torque it down. So in this case, I'm going to take these guys, basically mount them so that they fit, you know. Oh, that sucks. I gotta take these guys off to see how it was mounted, but if I remember correctly, well, we'll see. Let me take this off. The easiest way I found out is take your 10mm here. Not that one. Take your 12mm actually. If I can find it. Here it is. You take your 12mm and you put one end into the vise, which let me show you right here. Like that. And you put the square piece. Obviously, oh, it's not 12. It's 14. I apologize. 14mm. So you put it right, and then you put that out of the way, and then basically what you do is that you grab the nice square side. Grab the square side with the teeth of the vise, and basically that way it keeps the shock locked in place, right? And basically, there you go. I think you guys can see it. Let me zoom in a little bit. Let me see if it'll. See it right there? Camera zooms a little bit, or whatever. You see it right there. So, do that for the back ones. Let me take it apart. Keep at it. Once you feel a little bit of resistance, you just remove it from the vise. Part comes off. Actually, I'm gonna reuse these. But as you see, my back ones aren't that bad because you don't see any oil coming out of here or here, but they are very dirty, and I'm sure that 87,000 miles has not been good to them. So I'm gonna clean these guys up a little bit. Not too much probably, but just enough. Now, let me see the difference between these guys and these guys. Oh yeah, you can tell the difference in not only quality, but this guy's a lot newer than this guy. So I'm going to use this mount instead. I'm just going to reuse this piece. So, I'm going to slip this in between here, like that. Slip this guy on. It's a big rubber mount, but let's see if I can clean it. Alright, so clean this boot a little bit, not too much, this thing's old anyway. So this guy's a lot of oil and debris, and well, that's actually rubber. See the rubber's coming off, but it is still a good mount. So let's see if the instructions said anything, which I doubt it, but The instructions say a bunch of stuff about that's fine. So, same thing. Put that mount in. We put this piece in so it stays like that. Put coupler and the new piece. Of course, we're going to use the new bolt. Alright? And then make sure that this is obviously going to be able to move, but so then start tightening it up a little bit. Once you notice it starts spinning, you kind of put in your vise a little bit. Same trick. Not too tight. And you start tightening it. Until it reaches more or less the end. And you loosen that up. And then now comes the fun part where the torque of that bolt is, if this thing can, okay, well, on here it says 22 foot-pounds. So I'm gonna convert it and then I'll get back to you on that. So basically my my gauge doesn't even come close to 22, so I'm gonna probably just end up tightening it by hand. It's not a lot. Oh, doing it the other way. It's not a lot of weight, pressure I mean, so don't overdo it. Just when you feel it, make sure your vise is tight. Just give it a nice quarter turn. There. That should be more than enough. Remember, these bolts aren't made for... These washers have a rubber sealer in there that helps prevent the washer from backing out. And so yeah, there you go. These are the easy ones, by the way. So I'm gonna go put this guy back in and then do the other side and then get back to you with the front suspension. Oh, I forgot to say, these bolts are 22 foot-pounds. These are 21 foot-pounds. Be very careful not to over tighten these, okay? And then the bolts on the bottom here are, or here I should say, are 81 foot-pounds. So I'm gonna put a link in the description with all the weights anyway once I make the video, or well, I guess by the time you're watching this. So let me install this one, put the other one out, and then do the same, and then I'll get back to you with the front. Alright, so now I took out the front wheel. It's a bit bright, so I have to, oh, whatever, there it goes. Just into the darkness. So we have the spacer. So I put the greaser on this bolt. These two grommets here on the side. Right, these guys. Oh, sorry, this one and that one. The bolt that's right down here. That guy. And then I'm gonna open up the hood and start from the top. Same thing goes with this. You're gonna put a jack underneath the suspension because all this is gonna drop. And then, yeah, this is the. You don't need to. If you just remove these two cables and you hang them around the brakes, that's your ABS sensor or whatever. And if you just hang them around here, that's fine because you're just gonna pull the shock out. So on the top, you're gonna have to remove. Well, I'll show you now. Let me pop the hood. So on the top part, you're gonna have to remove these three bolts, and then There's 1, 2, and 3 on this side. Same thing goes on this side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then, I forgot. I installed a catch can here. Super Ninja. You can't even see it, but it goes right there, and then the other line goes right there back to the manifold. But yeah, Super Ninja and super awesome. I should have made a video, but it was really late and my camera wasn't charged at all. So unfortunately, I'm either gonna show you with another video the next time I install them, or we'll see. So yeah, these 3 bolts, and we'll get to that. Alright, so this is the passenger side. So in order to take this out, you got to remove the rear lower control arm bolt, and as well as the front lower control bolt and the sway bar link bolt. So seems like my energy suspension bushings are shot. At least the front ones are. I don't know why is that. So looks like I might have to get new bushings again. This time I'm probably gonna go with light white line, because these honestly didn't last anything. And let me show you the the driver's side, which I already took out. But the fuck, white line? Energy. Why are these fine? These not so much. Let's look at the other side. Look at that shit. It's all jacked up. So I'm gonna talk to them about it and see if they can send me some replacements or something, because that's ridiculous. I haven't even had these for maybe a year. This was like the first mod I did to this car, except the exhaust. So, but as you can see, this side is completely stripped out already, and I have to remove the back, middle, and some folks like to remove the upper A-arm, but I find that that's unnecessary. Just take those out and just kick the hub a little bit downward with these bolts installed, which I'm going to show you, and it'll come off. So let's continue on with this, shall we? So I'm going to leave the camera there, and I'm going to start working. So again, jack underneath. You always want to make sure that you have your part is properly. I already removed the top bolts. I removed this wire and then the brake hose line on the other side. So now I'm just going to remove the 3 connectors, and front one. Both the front, the outer part of the arm, and the and the sway bar link are both 17 millimeter. The back one is a 19 millimeter, so you're gonna have to get obviously appropriate sockets for that, and make sure that your stuff is properly held in place. I just like to keep it there just so that this doesn't smash into my face, which it's not going to, but it's better to be safe than sorry, right? So let's go ahead and let me go get the 17 millimeter wrench. Let me add a little bit of that to this because it's kind of tight. So, gun in here. Have at it. Bolt removed. This baby is a lifesaver. Make sure you keep the bolts together. And take the A-arm. This one might be a pain in the ass, but that's all we need. Just need to get in there. There. A-arm
is removed, I like to put this there. So now make sure that the top bolts are loosened but not fully removed, because when you knock this down you need the suspension to stay in place so it dislodges itself, which is important. So now, very carefully might I add, I'm going to take out the back one. It would help if I actually used a 19mm. And you have support.
Are you talking to yourself?
I filmed the repairs. So, little trick, if ever that happens where the bolt won't come out the normal way, you tighten it a little bit, then you let it go and it pops right out. So I'm going to stop right now and then show you the suspension once I remove it. Alright, so now is a spring compressing time. I already compressed these, but basically you need to get a spring compressor and attach kind of like that. And then I'm using the impact because I'm lazy, but I tightened them a little bit so I can take that bolt out. And basically, that's it. I mean, as soon as you remove that hat, you basically build a new one in reverse order. And that's it. And then you put it back on. That's about it. So, here's a little trick. This is how you know when your suspension is bad. You take the rod, you push it back. See how it's not moving? Yeah. It's moving very, very, very slowly. That's really slow. I'll show you what the new one looks like. So, the new one, just like this one, I'm going to compress it against my desk. Put it right here so you can see it. See at the speed that it's rising? I know you can't, but it's moving a lot quicker. That's what you're looking for. That's a new one. So, as you see, it's stuck. It won't even go up past this point. So, this guy is bad. Now, I still have the spring compressed. Make sure you do one at a time, that way you don't get them mixed up. So which side is which? What I did is I spray painted green on the driver's side. That's the way I know which one is the driver's side. So keep these separate. Here's a new guy. Okay, it's baller. So install this guy and put it into my vise just so it's easier on me. You don't have to do this on the vise, but over time it pretty much holds itself in place. So also you got this boot, it's all ragged and torn up and stuff. This is going in the garbage. So then here we got the old ones that I got from, these are used. I got these from a good friend of mine. So basically what we're going to do is I'm going to take the spring. Give me a second, I got to answer my phone. Alright, sorry about that. So now you gotta remember that I'm gonna remove this crusty old rubber bullshit here. So, I'm gonna take your old spring, you're gonna seat it. You need to make sure that the bottom of the spring touches this mount right here, which bottom of the spring touches this mount right here. That's how you know it's seated correctly. And the same goes for the top one. Make sure you remember which side. Obviously, I removed the hi-hat from this side, so these bolts go forward. I'll move this back a little bit for you. So we got this guy. Then basically what you do, sorry about that, we can move this so it's easy to put the new nut on. And basically these are torqued to, hold on, let me double check. These are torqued to 44 foot-pounds, so they're just a little bit tighter. And again, you gotta kind of do this, which is why this part takes extraordinary long amount of time, which I'm gonna not bore you with. But basically, this nut goes to 44 pounds. These guys go to 28 foot-pounds, and then basically the bolt. I don't know, you can't read it, but the bolt that goes here is at 79 pounds, and then the bolt on the other side of the A-arm, of the bottom control arm, is at 96 foot-pounds. So that's how you know the foot poundage. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this and keep the spring compressed while you're doing this. Okay? So I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna get back to you with both of them ready to go, and I'm gonna show you how the install goes. Okay, so got all the bolts tightened up. So we got everything installed. Make sure that this disc and this bottom piece here aligns when you're mounting everything. Make sure you don't forget to tighten this bolt, the one in the back and the one here, and also this little guy right here for the little brake line, and connect these two hoses up for the sensor. And that's pretty much it. As soon as they're tight to spec, you're good. The bolt in the back, again, is 96 foot-pounds. This one, I'm not sure. This one I kind of hang tightened, but it's pretty tight as well. It's like around 50. And then this guy right here is about 79. Actually, he's about 60 or 65 pounds. And that's pretty much it. After that, you're set. So let me get everything dropped. And I'll show you also the wheels, so you can see that part, because I haven't shown that yet. So we'll take a look at that now. So now we're already running. Go down on this. there you go. New suspension. Super. Hope you guys